We get to deal with a crappy laptop webcam because I am at home right now and I left mine at my dorm room. My better one. Yeah. I think we need to talk about talking in fiction. That's what I meant by that. We're talking about talking. Talkception. That wasn't funny. So if you're writing something for fiction, it's usually containing characters that are usually human, that usually have to speak to get their points across. It can be confusing sometimes. I know that I had a lot of trouble with trying to find a way to make it work, but I've learned a lot of things in my experience of writing that could hopefully help you, and I've come up with some tips that will help. So the first thing that I might need to know is how to incorporate a good balance of direct dialogue and indirect dialogue. What is the difference, you're asking? Well, I'll try to tell you as best as I can. So direct dialogue is when someone speaks. They are speaking words, languages, noises. They're speaking out of their mouth. And indirect dialogue is when you indicate in the story, like, she was talking about this and Stacy was all like, stop it. Something like that. So to correctly and more efficiently balance these two, you need to only use direct dialogue when something is more important that needs to be said, because let's be real, we don't want to hear every little tiny detail about how bad Stacy's day went. Seriously. Jeff, stop rambling. What's the real point? Well, what I'm trying to say is that you really don't want to have long stretches of direct dialogue, because that means you didn't really need it. It's not very, you need to sum it up. You need a little summary, because a long giant conversation this long, even longer, who knows, but 10 pages worth of direct dialogue can get really boring, and it's not needed because it can take up a lot of space. And that brings me to my next tip, which is second tip. Yep, I know how to count. Which is to have a good balance of direct dialogue to indirect. You want to have more indirect, I'd say, than direct, because, like I said, direct is mostly more meant for, you know, getting major points across. Something major is happening, you need to pay attention to what they are saying because the author chose to make them say it, rather than summarizing it. Which is major because indirect dialogue should only be used for minor things, like, she asked me how I was, and I told her I was having a miserable day, and blah 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 blah, which then can lead up to your direct dialogue of what is happening. My third tip, that looks like an E, is, oh, my nose is so itchy. Formatting. You need to be able to format dialogue correctly. By this I mean, each person, when the next person is talking, needs to have a new paragraph and indented. Just push the tab button once. It's not that hard. And you need to put them in quotations, obviously, comma in the quotations after they're done talking, unless it's a question or they're shouting something, with he said or she said. Also, you don't have to get too creative with your speech tags, which is he said, she said, because no one's gonna remember them anyway if you said vociferated or exclaimed, or they're just not gonna, it's not really that important. If you always say he said, she said, you can shuffle between a few, but you don't have to get super creative unless you really want to. It's not necessary, but it might make you look a little better if you don't. I'm just saying. So, because it's kind of hard for me just to speak what good formatting is for dialogue, here is a good little screenshot of a good conversation for your formatting reference. So as you can see, the first line is indented because someone has started talking. The next line is indented because it's a new person, and the next line is indented because that's just what you do with formatting. Also noticed in this selection is the last 4 lines where we have the indication between Stacy and Becky. You do not need to keep going with speech tags if it is clear the conversation going on between whatever characters are involved. Yay, dialogue! My 4th and final tip that I have for you about dialogue is to make it in character, make it unique. You know, if one of your characters is supposed to have a southern drawl, then try and break up the speech in the sentence to make it look like that. And if they have a thick accent, make it like that too. It'll make it more interesting for the readers, and it might make them invested in your story a little more and get them to very mentally picture what is happening. However, if you're not feeling up to that, if you don't feel like you can, there are certainly times when I don't know how to, just try and indicate somehow that they're speaking a different way, like just make it regular, but make it like add in the tag like she said with a southern drawl, or he said while muffled in a pillow. I don't know what he's doing in a pillow. Recently tried to break up the speech to make someone sound drunk, and I'm not sure if I did it right. I still have yet to look at some comments that people left for me about it, but I tried. I was ambitious, and if it didn't work, then oh well. Yeah, I can show you that example, and if you think it works, go ahead and use something like that, but if not, oh well. And here's the sentence that I tried to do it with. And that's apparently what it looks like when someone is speaking drunk in writing. And if you don't like it, tell me if it doesn't look right. I would like feedback on that because I'm not a professional. I'm just giving you advice that I've realized works for me. So that's all I have for you about dialogue. If you can think of anything else that you want me to talk about, leave it down there in the comments, send me a message, tweet me, whatever you feel like. No one's making you, seriously. I hope you guys have a good day, and good luck with all of your projects if you have any at the moment. Bye!